Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, let's go over what has happened so far and what we can expect moving forward. And yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a more eventful week than I honestly expected, but we'll go over essentially what we see so far and you know, if it's good, bad, or whatever, right? So as per usual, if you guys enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help quite a lot. And again, as per usual, guys, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. This is just purely for entertainment, etc., etc. But all that being said and done, Tesla closing the day down 3.67%, putting us at $185.51 compared to the market. Tesla with yet another underperformance. I mean, the QQQ was down, so tech was down on average of 1%. With QQQ down 1.01%, but Tesla being down 3.7%, we'll just say, is obviously a little bit more than, you know, the delta that it normally would be, you know, when it comes to just following the market. But all that being, or was it beta, following the market. But all that being said, though, let's just discuss about it, right? Let's just figure out what the hell is happening with Tesla. So, you know, back when we had this run up last Friday, right? And everyone, I don't know, everyone was just bullish into the weekend, into the deliveries, etc. And they did technically beat. It was just a very marginal beat. You know, people were very bullish and excited, and, you know, people were calling me crazy and etc., etc. And now we're down quite a lot, honestly, in just a matter of 3 days, really, since we're down a total of today's closing price, like almost 11%. That's a decent drop in just 3 days, right? So, you know, and it's not looking good. I'll be completely honest, ladies and gentlemen, it is not looking good. There is still one final, like, hope, I guess, but I must admit, overall, it's not looking too hot. Now, we did close below the 186-ish level, but we are still above 185, which is, in my opinion, that final level. Like, the fact that we're still closing pretty much above 185 still gives some hope to the bulls, but my goodness, it is truly on some seriously thin ice where it is trading as of right now, and more importantly, where it even closed. So we had a few gap downs, right? And obviously we have a gap now at pretty much $192.50. But the most important thing to note, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from the two blue lines that are now added, you know, we have essentially broke this little, I don't know, it's a very awkward wedge, in all honesty. Like, I personally like to look at it more like this if I had to, you know, drop myself, or that's what I've seen people do. I would personally do something like this instead. You can either do it like this, or you can do, you know, something like this instead. Whatever. The point is that it essentially broke out of this little, you know, trend, if you will, that it has been clearly following in for, you know, quite some time, since these lows over here, actually. So, you know, the fact that it finally broke down under, arguably yesterday, it kind of peeked its head, but really truly confirming it today. Yeah, that's the sign that's just really no bueno, right? That is not what you want to be seeing as a bull right now. Now, again, you know, like we always talk about, whenever you have certain breakdowns like this, or even breakouts, it's pretty common to essentially get a retest, right? Similar to what we see on SPY. We talked about SPY getting a head and shoulders pattern, looking, you know, actually a pretty decent recovery for the most part, but nonetheless still looking a little bit bearish, right? Same with QQQ with a bullish or bearish divergence, right? We talked about all these bearish trends setting up, and Tesla definitely was, you know, having a double top potentially here as well, and just overall, you know, approaching massive resistance up here. I'm very sad I didn't enter puts up here. Would have been absolutely printing right now. I was waiting for the 215, but regardless, it is what it is, right? You know, so the fact that we broke down out of this trend, you know, it's not a good sign. But like we said, you know, on SPY before, right? You know, when it breaks down out of a trend, it's common to retest that, and that's essentially what it did right here, right? It broke down out of the trend right here, came down, retested it up here now, and then most likely it will continue moving its way down. And that's kind of what I wouldn't be surprised with Tesla. Now, does it mean that it has to bounce right here, right now, and to go for the retest? Or for instance, does that mean that it'll bounce right in this area right now, and then go for the retest, and then make its way down? Not necessarily. It could, but, you know, it doesn't mean it has to just yet. But with that being said, I also would not be surprised if it does bounce here and actually go for the retest, which will pretty much put it once again back to, believe it or not, $200 once again, where I think we'll finally get that ultimate rejection and make our way down for that retest. But with that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make it extremely clear, it doesn't always have to do these retests. Sometimes it can just break down and just essentially absolutely collapse, right? It doesn't always need to come up and do these kind of, you know, retests to kind of confirm the breakdown or breakout. So it's not like a guaranteed thing. Like, it's not, oh man, it's absolutely 100% guaranteed that it will come up to retest this line before it goes down. Not at all, right? It's likely, and there's a decent chance of it happening. But again, with the market, and nothing is ever a 100% guarantee, right? Everything is just strictly probabilities. So if it does come up, keep that in mind. You know, when you see it rallying, if you do, maybe starting tomorrow, you know, keep that in mind, that, you know, this could be essentially just all it's doing is coming up for a retest. And if you're a bull, if you want to have a last chance to get out, if you want to re-enter maybe shorts or whatever, that is something I would personally, in just my opinion, be looking at, quite closely, I guess is what I would say, right? Around that 200 level, give or take. But with that being said, whether it goes for the retest or not, there is an exceptionally very high likelihood that it will continue this downtrend further, whether it's retest and make its way down, or it does like a little bit of a consolidation followed by another way down. But this breakdown is really not what the bulls want to be seeing, and this makes the bearish case like substantially stronger. Now, the one final thing the bulls have going for them is the fact that on this little drawdown, it is actually closing pretty much right at the 0.5 level of the Fibonacci from this swing low to this arguable swing high right here. So, that's another little potential kind of light at the end of the tunnel that the bulls have for themselves right here, right now. So again, if it were to bounce, anywhere between here and 180 would be the place to bounce. One potentially last time before we finally make our way down to, in my opinion, at the very least, to this 160s level, if not most likely all the way down to around this gap fill, which is give or take like 150, 145, 155, somewhere in that kind of general range of like 145, 155, somewhere along that range, right? So that's kind of the main thing I'm looking at. You can see the RSI is also just pointing straight down right below the median as well. So not looking too hot there as well. And all in all, Tesla, just guys, it's hard to be bullish here. I'll be completely honest. The only thing you can be bullish about here is just playing for potential bounce off of a 10% in 3-day sell-off into a retest. But that's really the only bullish scenario I can see. I mean, technically there is a probability that when it comes up, it actually just makes this like an absolutely astronomical fake breakdown, and it just re-enters it back here and just completely rockets back up to like, here, maybe even higher. Again, with the market, you never know for sure, and that is still technically a possibility. However, with that being said, the probability, right, probability of that happening, not super high in my opinion. Could be completely wrong, but in my opinion, this being a false breakdown and Tesla rallying up and breaking through and just completely skyrocketing back to like 215 or even higher, maybe 10%, honestly, like at best, right? I can't imagine that happening, right? I don't see that happening. So we'll see what it comes into, guys. We'll see what actually comes, to fruition with all of that being said. So that's kind of the main thing I am looking at, right? And again, the market also, potentially looking like, it wants to get a little bit of a bounce here. And the main thing, again, back to the VIX, right? Again, the VIX is the volatility, measurement, if you will. The fact that the market is going down this hard and the VIX is still sitting at 19 is just, man, what is going on with this thing? It's really it just cannot find any like life really to get a bounce, right? So we need the VIX to bounce, at least the bears need the VIX to bounce, because the VIX is not bouncing. This, quote unquote crash, if you will, isn't like super duper convincing just yet, because the VIX is so darn weak. It's so weak. So just keep that in mind, right? This isn't the most convincing thing in the entire world yet, which is why I also, again, like I said, wouldn't be too shocked if we do get a bit of a bounce from here, for Tesla, maybe in the market, not a substantial bounce, but a, little bounce, at least for now, for the maybe remainder of the week or something like that. Again, for Tesla back up to as high as 200, best case scenario. That to me wouldn't be surprising, because the VIX is just so damn weak still. But again, with all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, I also really, truly would not be surprised if the downtrend has essentially begun. We're just, I don't know, it has begun, and then all it really has left is just one potential retest into the actual true confirmation and the true beginnings of this, roller coaster to hell, let's just say, for now. But again, in terms of where, I get those numbers from as to where I think it'll come down from this drawdown. Again, the 0.5 to the 0.618 are the main levels I'm personally looking at, which again, the 0.618 happens to also be that gap fill. And that's the main thing I'll be looking at more or less. We are now below the 21 EMA, which also is not a good sign. So that's, not great. There's only one candle. I do have a three-day daily candle rule. So if it can come back above the 21 EMA tomorrow or the day after, it's not too bad yet. But if Tesla starts showing issues going back above it, that's really not good. The Bollinger Band is right in the middle, so I wouldn't be surprised if it hovers around it for a little bit. I don't think it'll just completely crash from here as well. It might, but I don't think it will. I do think at least we'll get a bit of consolidation for at least a day or two, if not a bounce, right? I don't think we'll just continue falling. But, keep that in mind, right? That's something that's important to consider. The 100 daily moving average is still below us. We're now below the 50-day moving average. We're most likely below the 10 as well. So the bearish patterns are definitely starting to hit the tape, ladies and gentlemen, pretty aggressively. So just keep that in mind. It's not looking too hot. It's definitely looking, quite more bearish than bullish. So yeah, that's the main thing I'm looking at, and I am currently seeing, ladies and gentlemen. So let me know what you think down below. It's not looking too hot, but there is still one more potential bounce on its way before, we really truly start feeling the wrath of this fall. So Yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.